Yesterday we read, when the senses act with the sense object, then attachment develops. Correct? Yes? So you see how the senses are so powerful. And today we are hearing about the touch senses, you know. So this is how it works. Wow, I got my bead bag dirty, yeah? Gotta soak it and then wash it, I guess. So you can see here this verse. Eleven, 8, 7. Can you go down to the purple? Go, no, the purple. Read the purple. See how the senses, Sridhar Swami explains in this regard, just as a moth is killed by this attraction to the form of fire. You know the fire, light, the moth, have you seen that? The moth are flying into the fire, correct? They are attracted to the light and they get killed. Similarly, a bee can easily be killed by exploiting its attraction to the fragrance of flowers. So the bee also, they will go to some flowers close, isn't it? Have you seen that? Furthermore, hunters may trap and kill an elephant by exploiting his senses desire to touch a captive female elephant. So how they catch the elephant? Do you know how they do that? Don't know. They will dig a pit and they will put the cover, and before that, I think after that, they will put the elephant, female elephant, and so the male elephant will come and try to touch, and he will fall into the pit. That's how it is trapped, Yes? And a deer is attracted to the sounds of the hunter who is making music. And a fish is killed by the desire to taste the bait on a hook. See how the senses are employed to trap the victim. Why? Because they are not controlling the senses. Right? Thus, one who desires to learn detachment from material illusion should accept these 5 helpless creatures as guru and learn the needful. Certainly, one who is lasty to enjoy the illusory form of woman will be quickly buried in material illusion. Of the 5 types of fatal attraction involving material sense objects, the lessons of rupa or form is illustrated in this verse. Right? Further also these verses. So here another verse. Can you go to 14, 11, 8, 14? 11, 8, 14. A man possessing intelligent discrimination should not, under any circumstance, try to exploit the beautiful form of a woman for his sense gratification. Just as an elephant trying to enjoy a she-elephant is killed by other bull elephants, also, what happened?
Eleven, 8, 13, bro.
14. Just as an elephant trying to enjoy the she-elephant is killed by other bull elephants, also enjoying a company. One trying to enjoy a lady's company can any moment be killed by her lovers who are stronger than he. Gopal. Just as one is enchanted by the beautiful form of woman, many other men will also be enchanted, and there is a danger that they will be stronger than oneself and may even jealously kill one. Crimes of passions are extremely common. This is another disadvantage of material life. This is all because of sense of touch. Yes? You understand? The senses are, I think it's another place to explain more. Okay, you can go to 18, 11, 8, 18. Becoming attracted to the worldly singing, dancing and musical entertainment of beautiful women, even great sage Rishi Shringa, the son of Mrigi, fell totally under their control just like a pet animal. Rishi Shringa was intentionally brought up by his father in an atmosphere of complete innocence. The father kept him in the forest, where no women, nothing he could see. The father thought that if his son were never exposed to the sight of women, he would always remain a perfect brahmachari. Okay? But by chance, the inhabitants of the neighboring kingdom who were suffering from long-term drought received divine advice that rain would return to their kingdom only after the Brahmana named Rishi Shringa set foot in it. So the kingdom, there was no rain for many, many years. So the king was told, if you can bring this powerful sage into your step foot on your country, then rain will fall. You see how tapasya is so important. You understand? So how to bring him, because his father has protected him so much. Therefore they sent beautiful women to Rishi Shringa's cemetery and teach him and bring him back to them. Since Rishi Shringa had never heard about women, he easily fell for their trap. The name Rishya Shringa indicates that the young sage was born with a deer-like horn growing out of his forehead, like a rhinoceros. If like the deer, Rishi become attracted to sweet musical sound promising sense gratification, a thoughtful person would humbly take instruction from the deer who is doomed by attraction to musical sense gratification. It's how they catch the deer. How they catch the deer? They play the music. So this is how they got him, They sent the woman and they were surprised. They look very strange. Who are you? You understand? So he became attracted to their body. Huh? Are you following? So because of the senses, act with the sense object, he became attracted, right? Then they brought him to the kingdom, and when he set foot on the kingdom, then rain started falling. Of course that was another purpose, but we are studying the actions of the senses. See? Next verse. Just as a fish incited by the desire to enjoy his tongue is fatally trapped on the fisherman's hook, similarly a foolish person is bewildered by the extremely disturbing urges of the tongue and thus is ruined. See how the tongue, the fish, because he wants to taste the bait, right? So he goes and tries to eat the food, and then the hook is stuck in the mouth. Yes? You understand? See how dangerous the senses can trap the living entity. The fisherman places meaty bait on the sharp hook and easily attracts the unintelligent fish who is greedy to enjoy his tongue. Similarly, people are mad after gratifying their tongues and lose all discrimination in their eating habits. For momentary gratification, they construct huge slaughterhouses and kill millions of innocent creatures, and by inflicting such atrocious suffering, they prepare ghastly future for themselves. But even if one eats only the food authorized in the Vedas, there is still danger. One may eat too sumptuously and then the artificially stuffed belly will create pressure on the sexual organs, thus one will fall down into lower modes of nature and commit sinful activities that lead to the death of one's spiritual life. From the fish we should learn carefully the real dangers involving in gratifying the tongue. Yes? So we learn from the elephant the sense of touch. Now we learn from the fish the sense of taste. Yes? Next verse. By fasting, learned men quickly bring all of the senses except the tongue under control. Because by abstaining from eating, such men are afflicted with an increased desire to gratify the sense of taste. It doesn't mean that you fast, you can control of course you can control all the senses except and the tongue is the chief of all the senses. That's why we sing the song. What is that? You chant the words before prasadam? No, the other one. Sharira advidya jal, yogendriya taheka, jikva pale, visayo sagare, nabhavaya sudharmati. So of all the senses, the tongue is most difficult to control. If you can control the tongue, then you control everything. You understand? That's the chief. How to control the tongue? I think I spoke about it the other day, correct? The only way you can control your tongue is by what? and taking Krishna prasad. So, see the next verse. Purport. No need the purport. This is Bhakti Siddhanta what is saying. No, go to Bhakti Siddhanta. Yeah. In this connection, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said that the business of flavor, by wandering in the 12 holy forests of Brajamandala Vrindavan, one can be freed from the 12 flavors of material sense gratification. The 5 principal divisions of material relationship are neutral, admiration, servitude, friendship and parental love, parental affection and conjugal love. The 7 subordinate features of material relationship are material humor, astonishment, chivalry, compassion, anger, dread and ghastliness. Originally, these 12 rasas or flavors of relationship are exchanged between the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the living entity in the spiritual world. And by wandering in the 12 forests of Vrindavan, one can re-spiritualize the 12 flavors of personal existence. Thus one will become a liberated soul free from all material desires. If one artificially tries to give up sense gratification, especially of the tongue, the attempt will be a failure. In fact, one's desire for sense gratification will increase as a result of artificial deprivation. Only by experiencing real spiritual pleasure in relationship with Krishna can one give up material desires. See this point? So the senses can only be controlled if you engage in the service of Krishna. You know the words for that? Rishikesa Shevanam Bhaktir Uchyate. You understand? The senses can only be controlled if you engage the senses in the service of Rishikesa, who is Krishna. You understand? Go to the next page. Go to the, just now the, yeah, again go down. Although one may conquer all of the other senses, as long as the tongue is not conquered, it cannot be said that one has controlled his senses. However, if one is able to control the tongue, then one is understood to be in full control of all the senses. You understand this point? Huh? You see how important the tongue is. By eating, one gives energy and activity to all of the senses. And third, if the tongue is uncontrolled, all of the senses will be dragged down to material platform of existence. Therefore, by all means, one must control the tongue. If one fasts, then all of the other senses become weak and lose their potency. The tongue, however, becomes more greedy to taste delicious preparations, and when one finally indulges the tongue, all of the senses quickly go out of control. Therefore, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti advised that one accept Mahaprasadam or the remnants of the Lord's food in moderate proportion. Since the tongue function is also to vibrate, one should vibrate the glorious holy name of the Supreme Lord and taste the ecstasy of pure Krishna consciousness. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Rasavrajam Rasopiyasya Param Drishva Nivartate. Only by higher taste of Krishna consciousness can one give up the deadly lower taste that keeps one imprisoned in material bondage. The Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that as long as one intelligence is materially covered, one cannot understand the pleasure of Krishna consciousness. Trying to enjoy without Krishna, the living entity leaves the abode of the Supreme Lord called Vrajabhumi and comes down into the material world where he quickly loses control of his senses. One becomes particularly victimized by the tongue, belly and genitals, which exert intolerable pressure on this conditioned soul. These desires subside, however, when one establishes one blissful relationship with the Lord, who is actually the reservoir of all pleasure. One who is attached to the taste of Krishna consciousness automatically follows all of the rules and regulations of religious life due to spontaneous attraction to Vishuddha Sattva, or the mode of pure goodness. Without such spontaneous attraction, one is suddenly bewildered by the pushing of the senses. The beginning stage of devotional service called sadhana bhakti, regulated practice, is so powerful that it brings one to the platform of anartha nivritti, where one becomes free from unwanted sinful habit and gains relief from the pressure of the tongue, belly and genitals. Thus one is delivered from the bondage of material addiction and can no longer be cheated by the allurements of the material energy. As it is said that all that glitters is not gold. In this regard, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur recommends that we consider the following song written by his father, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. This one we chanted, right? Tarera Advide. Correct? Go. Or the translation, O Lord, this material body is a lump of ignorance and the senses are a network path to death. However, we have fallen into this ocean of material sense enjoyment, and of all the senses, the tongue is most ferocious and uncontrollable. It is very difficult to conquer the tongue in this world. But you, dear Krishna, have given us, very kind to us and given us such nice prasadam just to control the tongue. Now we take this prasadam to our full satisfaction and glorify the Lordship Sri Sri Radha Krishna, and in love call for help of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. So you see how the senses are very, very what? Dangerous. Correct? Very dangerous. How they act, you can go in this way. 7:40. 7:40. This is what's happening, the senses. What it is, translation. Okay, you go to 42. Go to 42. 41, no? 41, go to 41. No, this is not. Maybe it's 7, 9, no? Don't go to 7, 7, 7, 9. 7, 9, no? Okay, 7, 9, 41. Alright, 7, 9, 40, 7, 9, 40. So this is the position, 7, 9, 40. This is the position of a person who cannot control his senses. Huh? Yeah, you see? Oh, my dear Lord, oh infallible one, my position is like that of a person who has many wives, all trying to attract him in their own way. For the example, the tongue is attracted to the palatable dishes, the genital to sex with an attractive woman, and the sense of touch to contact with soft things, the belly, although filled, still wants to eat more, and the ear, not attempting to hear about you, is generally attracted to cinema songs. The sense of smell is attracted to yet another sight. The restless eyes are attracted to scenes of sense gratification, and the active senses are attracted elsewhere. In this way, I am certainly embarrassed. So this is what's going on. The five senses, each one is pulling one in different directions. Yes? You follow? The same thing is also there in 11.9. 11.9.27, I think, or 29. So 11:27. Then a man who has many wives is constantly harassed by them. He is responsible for their maintenance, and so all the ladies constantly pull him in different directions, each struggling for her self-interest. Similarly, the material senses harass the conditioned soul, pulling him in many different directions at once. On one side, the tongue is pulling him to arrange tasty food, then thirst drags him to get a suitable drink. Simultaneously, the sex organ clamor for satisfaction, and the sense of touch demands soft sensuous object. The belly harasses him until it is filled. The ears demand to hear pleasing sound. The sense of smell hankers for pleasant aroma, and the fecal eyes clamor for pleasing sight. Thus, the sense organ and limbs are all desiring satisfaction, pulling the living entity in many directions. You understand this? This is what the senses are. Right? And how they fall down. Actually, the fact that in the animals, one or two senses are very powerful. Like say, take the eagle. The thing that's very powerful is his eyesight. They can see for miles. Or the fish. The sense of smell is so far, they can smell danger very, very far. So their senses are very powerful in one aspect. But for the human being, all senses are very, very powerful. You understand? Huh? As a human being. It's a human platform is very high. But instead of using the senses for glorifying the Lord, if you engage them in sense gratification, then this is the outcome. This is it. You understand? Yeah? So you see how dangerous, that's why he says you have to control the one of the quality, Brahminical quality is what? Sama, Dhamma, Saucham. These are Brahminical qualities. There's sense control, mind control. Unless you control the mind, it's difficult to control the senses. Yes, and I have explained, even one sense you let go, then the whole thing goes. Right? Like a boat, So you see how dangerous. So we have to be very careful, especially in trying to control the mind. So the best way to control the mind is to engage in the service of Krishna. That's why the chanting is so potent. If you chant, then all senses can be easily subdued. Just like this, what is named Prakashananda Saraswati is saying in that verse. What is that verse? Narakayate. Kaivalyam Narakayate, this verse. So you see how he is explaining about how devotees control the senses. Go to the verse, no? Yes, the sloka book is here. Yeah, this is, can you read the translation? It's okay, it's okay. See, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has perfectly enunciated and broadcast the process of Bhakti Yoga. This is not a translation. Well, where is that there? For devotees, the pleasure of merging into the existence of Brahman is considered hellish. Similarly, he considers promotion to a heavenly planet just another kind of phantasmagoria. The yogis meditate for sense control, but for the devotees, the senses appear like serpents with broken teeth. See this point here? Huh? For the devotee, the yogis are trying to control the senses with so much of difficulty. But for the devotees, it's so easily done because it's like serpent without any fangs. Correct? When the serpent has got the fangs, it's got venom there. It bites you, you will die. You understand? So when the fangs are removed, then the serpent is harmless. Yes? So the senses, when it's controlled in the service of Krishna, it is like snakes without any fangs. Yeah? The whole material world appears joyful for a devotee, and even great personalities like Lord Brahma and Lord Indra are considered no better than insects. Such is the position of a devotee who has received but a small glance of the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Unto this most magnanimous personality I offer my respectful obeisance. So the point is that unless the senses are engaged in the service of the Lord, it is impossible to control them. You understand? It is impossible. You can see Vishwamitra, what's his name? Is that Vishwamitra? He was meditating in the forest, yes, and he heard the ankle bells of who? Menaka, and he finished. And then he started again meditating, and then Indra saw and he sent again another person, I don't know the name, and this time he burned her with his eyes, anger. First he fell for lust, second he fell for anger. You understand? But you see the example of Haridas Thakur, right? The prostitute came to tempt him and he was chanting and he didn't further. So you see the position of a yogi who is trying to artificially control the senses and a devotee who is engaging the senses in the service of the two big contrasts. Yes? So the devotee is succeeding with the help of Krishna. That's why on your own strength you try. It's very difficult. That's why Krishna said, Devi is a gunamaya, mama maya, trutyaya. It's not possible. You follow this point. So the senses, every senses has to be controlled. And the easiest way to control the senses is to engage the mind in service of Krishna. You understand this? You see these words, huh? 15:7, huh? Read it? Bhagavad Gita. So this was a famous verse, you see? Mamayangso jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana manaha sastra indriyani prakriti sthana kashtati. Manaha and sastra indriyani. Sastra indriyani means how many? Mind together with the five senses become six senses. Right? The living entity in this conditioned world have a maternal pregnant part. Due to conditioned life, we are struggling very hard with the six senses which include the mind. So you see how the senses are acting very, very what? Vehemently onto the conditioned soul. They are giving no respite. That's why I gave you two examples of the man who has married many wives. Yes? So everyone is pulling him in different directions. It's very difficult. You understand? In fact, to control the mind is very, very difficult. Very? It says 1087:33. The mind is like an impetuous horse that even persons who have regulated their senses and breath cannot control. You understand this point here? It's not so easy to control the mind. Those in this world who try to tame the uncontrolled mind but who abandon the feet of the spiritual master encounter hundreds of obstacles in their various cultivation of various distressful practices. Oh, unborn Lord, they are like merchants on a boat in an ocean who have failed to employ a helmsman. See how the mind, you follow, it's not that so easy to control your mind. Yes? You understand? And the mind is the chief of all the senses. Huh? So therefore, to engage the mind in Krishna's service is the only option. Man manaha bad bhakta madhyaji mam namaskuru. Yes? So think of me, worship me, surely you will come to me. So if you really want to control your senses, then the only option is to take shelter of Krishna. There's no other way. There's no Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Eva Kevalam, Kalau, Naseva, 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 Seva Gati Ranya. So try to understand, we are studying how the Lord is manifesting all the senses, the tongue, the ears, the touch, These are all the senses. Until the senses are formed, the living entity cannot function in the body. I was speaking to somebody yesterday. The baby, it has no consciousness until 7th month, when the body is formed. Correct? When the body is not formed, the soul is in a deep trance state. It doesn't know. Yeah? But when the body is formed, then the consciousness is put into the soul. You remember, oh, I'm struggling, so much pain, this, that. You understand? So until the senses are all fully, so similarly, the super soul has to generate all these organs in full capacity before the material world can function. You understand? That's why if you think that you can do all this without power of God, you must be nuts. Because to do, like for example, the example is given in the 4th canto, that when you go to sleep, correct, you forget who you are. You forget? You don't know who you are. Do you know who you are? That's why when you wake someone up in deep sleep, they are in complete what? Shock. What? Correct? Why? It takes some time for them to focus. Yes? Why? Because when you're in deep sleep, you forget everything. You are in your subtle body. Nothing to do with this ground body. So therefore, when you come out of that, you have to go through a stage called dreaming. Just like deep sleep to a wakefulness, that's dreaming. Like you're going to sleep in the night, correct? You go to sleep. Before you go to deep sleep, you dream, yes? After you dream, then you go to deep sleep, correct? So when you are coming out of deep sleep to a wakefulness, you again dream. 2 times you dream, in the night and also in the morning you're waking up. It's the transition, you understand? So in that period of time, the super soul then gives you the intelligence, you are so and so, you are this, that. Then when you wake up, you're, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. Because the super soul has to give you that intelligence. Otherwise you don't know who example I give, when you wake the person suddenly in deep sleep, he's in shock. Correct? You understand? So you see how the senses are all controlled by the Lord. If someone is thinking that he can do anything without God, then he is a fool. He's a what? A fool. You understand? It's not that the super soul doesn't play a role. The super soul is playing a role every day. Because every day you are reminded, you are this, you are that, you are, isn't it? You follow. Are you understanding? So this is why the super soul is so important, to get the whole, not only your body functioning, the whole universe to function. That's why if you read later on, you see that each organ that we have been created now, it will be handled by a certain demigod. Yes? Just now we read, he created fire, and fire was what? Is the role of who? Agni. Huh? And then he created what? The sun, and that is the sun god take charge, then the moon god take charge. Like that there are 33 crores of devatas involved in managing everything. Your eyelid, for example, you moving it up and down. There is a particular devata involved. You understand? So that's why when you say management of universe, everyone is purport. This is the result of you controlling your senses. You see this? Purport, 1795. 1795. Madhya. Go purport. Purport down. You see the verse. We'll come to it. Go down some more. Klesa Agni. You see the word there. Okay, here. Go down some more. Alright, see, Klesa Agni Subhada, Moksha Lagutta Krita, Sudur Labha, Sandra Ananda Visheshatma Sri Krishna Karshini Cha Sa. Devotional service is Klesha Agni, even for beginners. Klesha Agni means it destroys all kind of trouble. Even for beginners, this means that it reduces or nullifies all kinds of suffering. So when you are under the sense control of chanting, the first thing is that you are out of all your headaches and problems. You understand? Huh? The word Subhada indicates that devotional service bestows all good fortune. That means Subhada gives you all good blessing, fortune. And the word Krishna Karshini indicates that devotional service gradually attracts Krishna towards the subject, towards the devotee. Consequently, a devotee is not subject to any sinful reaction. Of course, the full translation of this is not here. This is from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. If you go and read the first chapter, this whole verse is explained. Okay? For your reference, you go, first chapter of the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, all this point that is explained here is explained. But the thing I'm trying to stress is that the moment you start chanting, then you get auspiciousness and you are free from all kind of sinful activities. You understand? And everything becomes very auspicious and you become happy. You become happy. So devotional service is so powerful. You understand? And if you don't do that, then you cannot get. Even he says this now, even for beginners. Understand? This chanting is so powerful that it doesn't wait for you to what? Become a big Paramahamsa or whatever. Even in the initial period, you feel so happy you're doing, otherwise why people want to do? Yes? Yes or no? That's why this verse is quoted. So anyway, all this boils down to one point: sense and mind control. Understand? The Lord, although I have created all the senses, He did not give you a free hand. And if you do a free hand, you know the consequences. Yes? So you have to learn how to control them and engage them in the Lord's service. Then yes, everything is okay. Even if you fall down, if you are controlling and you fall down, Krishna says no problem. Very quickly you will again recoup and get your bearings. You follow? He says in that verse, 931, Bhagavad Gita. Even a person is fallen, but if he takes up the process very quickly, he will come to his uh, auspicious position. Is there this verse here? Chipram. Chipram bhavanti dharmatma. Satsvat santi nigachate. Chipram means very quickly. Bhavati, he becomes righteous. Again. Satsvat santi. When he becomes, then quickly he will get what? Satsvat santi nigachate. He gets happiness. Understand? And then of course, kamtaya pratijane ma bhakta pranasati. So do you understand now this sense control subject today? Huh? I summarized. I've explained to you how the senses can lead to downfall. I gave you the example of the fish, the deer, the elephant, and what else? The bee. Yes? Then I also explained to you how the senses can go wild, like a man married to many wives. Yes? How each one is dragging him. Correct? Then after that I also explained to you why sense control is very important. Yes? Correct? And I also explained the consequence of not controlling it. And I have explained to you the consequence of controlling it through Krishna consciousness. Yes? And how you can live happily in this city of 9 gates with senses serving the Lord. Yes? Is it clear? Not clear. Confusing. Clear? Okay, very good. Thank you very much. I don't know you have question. I don't.
The order of reading books, 4 books, Prabhupada counted, Gita, Bhagavad, Devotion. What is the exact order? The Devotion comes to the end or middle or?
It should be beginning, no?
Devotion is
beginning, but first book you should read actually the SSR.
Yeah, I mean, among the 4 books,
First book you read is, usually we read the Gita first. Then you read Nectar of Devotion, Bhagavatam. Then of course.
Seems very, I'm not able to understand the book further many times. That's very deep, Nectar of Devotion. So many bhavas and prasad.
No, but
Technical terms.
no, you first understand the first part of it. This is coming from the first part. You take Nectar of Devotion, you see chapter 1. Nectar of Devotion, chapter 1. There, Nectar of Devotion there. Yeah, chapter 1. Yeah. See this? They're fine, no, this. Okay? Pure devotional service, immediate relief from all kinds of material distress. That's how we read, right? Huh? Yes? Pure devotional service beginning. Yes? Then pure devotional automatically puts one in transcendental pleasure. Pure devotional service is rarely achieved. Those in pure so all these things are in that verse. So he breaks it. See, Krishna is all attractive. Pure devotional service is the only means of attracting Krishna. So now this chapter is describing all these things. So you see how one verse is putting in the whole chapter. You understand? So if you know a little bit, then you relate now. You simply read like a blind man, then what I can say? Correct? Yes? And if you don't understand, you ask. Then he will explain to you. Yes? And you see this whole verse that we quoted just now, is this whole chapter. And then he breaks down, he explains relief from material distress. There's a whole topic on it. Right? Then he gives all the examples and everything, is it? Yes? This is actually the summary, Prabhupada actually summarized the thing. The real thing is the verses. Nectar of devotion has got all the verses also. So that also, I don't know, you have to study all that. Anyway, you just read the Gita first, that you try to finish that. Yes, how many of you have finished the Gita? One time, two times, three times? Three times. Good. Four times? Nobody. Anyway, you try, okay? You try to read over and over again. And each time you read, it becomes a different meaning. Yes? So that's how it is. And you learn. Slowly you realize something and something and something. Takes little time. Another big advantage is to also hear Prabhupada classes. And you see Prabhupada is speaking on the verse and is explaining. Although purport he wrote something, but if you go to his classes, he will explain in another way. You understand? So that's how you study, you get to know more and more things. It will take time, it's not today or tomorrow. That's one thing, reading. But to know how to take it out, that's another thing altogether. You understand? Like today, I'm giving you an example from all Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, we are going to the Gita. So you must know where is where and not simply know. You must know the subject. We are not just talking some wild stories. You understand? You have to be what? You have to flow. Yes? So that thing requires time. First of all, you have to see Bhagavad Gita, you only one time, two times, three times. So how many times you have to read over and over again? How many times you have to read the Bhagavatam over and over again? How many times you have to read the CC over and over again? Yeah? It's lifetime of commitment. Yes? Yes. Have to do, you cannot say no. That's why you cannot say that I finished Prabhu. Now I've got Bhakti Shastri certificate. I no need to study anymore. There's no such thing. This Bhakti Shastri thing, I don't fancy it so much. In our ISKM, open you up to all the books at one go. Yes? Yes or not? See, you are seeing CC, you are seeing Bhagavatam, you are seeing what? Bhagavad Gita. Correct? So this is our. So if you pass this, then you are more than Bhakti Shastri. More than? Understand? It's very powerful system way of teaching. Right? Only ISKM does it. Nobody else does this thing. Yeah? Do you learn anything today? Did you learn anything today? You didn't learn anything. Huh? Fortunately, it's recorded. Then you can play this back and then see also. May not remember everything, but at least something. Yes? Correct? Senses cannot be left what? Running around. It's going to be dangerous. Okay, we stop here. Anything else? Any questions? Yeah. What was that again?
Whatever we do is sanctioned by Super Soul inside.
Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13, text 23. You know what is that? Read 13:23.
No, that is not his question.
But I am explaining this point, how the super soul is sanctioning here. Upadista Anumanta. This is the function of the super soul, right? See? He is witnessing and he is permitting. There are two functions. Okay? So what's the question then?
So, like materialist, this question like that if someone is
Stealing.
Killing.
Killing.
so it is also sanctioned by the super soul.
Of Of course, otherwise how you will work? But the consequence is not the super soul's responsibility, you know. That's why it's explained here in 5:15 Bhagavad Gita. You see in this verse, 5:15, look, Bhagavad Gita 5:15. See, this is how you must know where to take what verse for what subject. You understand? See, nor does the Supreme Lord assume anyone's sinful or pious activities. So he's not responsible. Just like a judge. Prabhupada gives the example. If some guy who comes and he gets $1 million, or some guy comes, he gets hanging, is the judge implicated? Neutral. According to your action, you get the karma. You follow? So even a person goes and kills, it is not the reaction comes to the super soul. You follow? It is that reaction goes to that soul. That's why he says it's not embodied beings who, however, bewildered because of ignorance, discover their real knowledge. They don't know. They do. They get implicated. But the super soul is not implicated. He's like a judge. Correct? If judge orders someone to be hanged, is the judge responsible? Is he implicated? No, because of your karma, you're getting it. You understand? This is the verse, you must remember this, verse 5:15. So you understand this point? So sometimes they think that, oh, I killing, no, but I didn't do, no, super soul did, no. So I can walk out free? Huh? Can? Nonsense. You follow? So we have to quote this verse to explain that. The living entity is responsible for its own actions. You understand? Huh? Sometimes they ask this question, I am suffering now for my past life, but who knows? Who has seen all these things? How do I know I did all these things? I think it's very unfair. Huh? You can say like that. Can. What? Can go to 429. So here Narada Muni is explaining this, you know. Four 29:58. The results of whatever living entity does in this life are enjoyed in the next life. You understand? This is called what? Karma. You cannot say nobody knows what to do. You follow? The subtle body takes you there. Subtle body records. Huh?
Even if someone dies in an accident or someone kills, it is due to, it is like a car.
So, okay, this next verse, huh? You go to the next verse. The expert knowers of Vedic conclusion say that one enjoys or suffers the result of his past activity. But practically it is seen that the body that performed the work in the last birth is already gone, lost. So how is it that possible to enjoy or suffer the reaction of that work in a different body? Yeah, this is the question. That means, how do you know this karma? The body is already gone already. Why I have to pay for that body here now? Yes? Are you following? So this is the question. Next verse. Narada Sage Narada continues, this living entity acts in a gross body in this life. This body is forced to act by the subtle body, composed of mind, intelligence, ego. After the gross body is lost, the subtle body is still there to enjoy or suffer. There is no change. Yeah? You understand? Your subtle body, mind, intelligence and ego is going with you for millions of years. When you die, it doesn't mean that you change your body, you don't change your subtle body. Are you following?
So sometimes we get the last life remembrances.
Yes. Because of the subtle body and the mind. So sometimes you dream. It's explained, you're dreaming that you're flying, but you never flew. Flying also are not just like, one dimension. You're flying and you're feeling the air, you feel so many things, you're so real. How you go, unless you've been to such a situation, how you can register in your mind? So it must be the subtle body. That's why Narada is explaining like this. So whatever you're doing, although it is finished with your last body, but your subtle body is taking the memory of that, and it takes the reaction. Are you following? You understand this? Huh? Do you understand this? Yeah. So is it clear? Yeah? So this is explained by Narada in the chapter 429. Suggest you go and read that part. Huh? Many things you must read, and then you know exactly what's going on. Because these are the kind of questions they'll always ask you, especially the not the Hindus, the other guys will ask. Because they don't believe in karma. The Muslims and the Christian, they don't believe in karma. Who knows? Who sees? How do you know? This is all bogus. Huh? Correct? So we ask them, two person, one is very devoted Christian, right? And he gets a child. One child is extremely brilliant, and he gets another child who is deformed. So how you explain that? Same father, same mother. One child is what? Genius. Another child is a what? Why? What happened? Cannot explain. Unless you put in the karma philosophy in, cannot explain. Yes? You follow? So this is the example you must give. You understand? This is how you defeat them. And they cannot explain that. They cannot explain that. Not possible for them. Because they don't believe in reincarnation. They don't believe in karma. Then how things work? You see, Narada Muni is saying, yes, authority. You follow? Alright. Anything else? Some more question. What is it? Some more question there. So many questions. What is it?
The subtle body has its own identification other than its own.
What is it?
The subtle body has its own identification other than the soul.
Yes. The subtle body, the gross body and the soul and the super soul. That is all in your body. The soul and super soul are sitting in your heart. And the subtle body, mind is up here, right? And intelligence also. And ego, is also there. Different, but you cannot see. Can you see your mind? This is why it's called subtle body. You understand? And the gross body is this earth, water, fire, air, ether, this gross body. And the soul that you cannot see. So how you know your soul? Until you become a realized soul. And you understand. Now it is all theory, your soul. But you don't know you are the soul. Because if you know you are the soul, you won't do all these crazy things. No? Correct? You forget. You understand? And the super soul, you also have to realize them. So this takes a devotional program to come to that understanding. And when you become a realized soul, you will see yourself, you see the Lord, you see everything. That will take a little time. Yeah? What's your question?
So, we have to control our tongue, actually. That's why we take Krishna Prasadam. But very often, even when we come to Krishna consciousness, when we take Krishna Prasadam, we can have the tendency of being addicted to some particular item than we this. So,
Bhagavad Gita also it says 1853. It says here you have to learn how to eat less. It says here in this verse. Being purified of his intelligent and controlling mind with determination, giving up the object of sense gratification, being free from attachment and hatred, one who lives in a secluded place, who eats little. Who what? Eats what? Yeah. Not that too little you fall down and die or something. You have to be regulated. Correct? In Bhagavad Gita chapter 6, Krishna says, a real yogi is one who eats. What is that verse? 6, 7, is it? No. Regulated. I think 6, 12, 30. Atyahara 6. Yeah, Yuktahara Viharasi. So he has to be regulated, you see, in his habit of eating, sleeping, recreation and work. Can mitigate all material pain by practicing the yoga. Not that he eats too much and don't eat at all. So he has to be what? Regulated. Same thing, no? Correct. You have to be regulated. Yes? The whole thing is to control your sama, dhamma, saucham, arjama, all these things, you know. Without sense control, you cannot become a yogi. You become a what? A bogi. You become what? Bogi. So, to control doesn't mean that, oh, I like this, Prabhu. Eat as much as you like. Possible. To learn how to restrict. Yes? So all you don't need, give everything away. Possible? Then you will go home. Yeah? So you have to learn how to limit yourself. Yes? That's a test, no? Alright. Just now you say eats little, right? Eats what? Anything else? Clear? Understand? Very good. So we stop here. Granth Rashman Bhagavatam ki.